Good morning, everybody. Charlie here with Red Summit RF, call signs November Juliet 7 Victor. Today I am continuing my series on portable Morse code paddles. Welcome back to those of you who have been following along, and if you are new to this channel and this series, I hope that you find what you see here useful. Today we will be reviewing the SUR Kobo CIR-45D. It's a paddle out of Japan, and so I hope you enjoy this. Before we dive into the review, let me remind you to check the comments below. Oftentimes people put in information there, the supplemental information that helps you in your evaluation of this paddle, in addition to what I say about the paddle. So let's go ahead and get on over and take a look. The CIR-45D paddle, manufactured in Japan, comes in various colors. You can see here I purchased the red one, and it's for obvious reasons. My nickname's Red, my channel is Red Summit RF, but you can also get it in blue, orange, or green. And also there is a CIR-45D SP, and that one is silver in color rather than colored. It's just left in a nickel plating, and instead of the acrylic paddles here, it would have rosewood paddles on there. The CIR in the name here, so it says CIR-45D. So the CIR letters are short for Circinus, which is a small, faint constellation in the southern sky, and Circinus is Latin for compass. And I guess these paddles have a compass look to them of sorts, and thus the name. This CW key is made for portable use. As you can see, you can hold it in your hand quite easily, and it comes with silver contacts instead of the gold, but I'm sure that works just as good, or nearly as good. Has brass levers there inside, you can see, and it has spring tension within the metal housing there, and has an acrylic cover so you can see inside. It's pretty cool. And the website claims that it is dust proof in there. So it weighs about 110, the website said. Here it says 111, but that doesn't include the cable. We always weigh with the cable, so we're looking at right around 128. Last time I weighed it, it was 125. So, roughly 125, I would say. I'm just going to go with 128 here because that's what it says. So here's the scale right here of the different paddles that I've reviewed so far. I used ChatGPT to create a scale-based grading system there, and you can see that it's on the heavier side. In fact, it's above at the top of the scale. So they're pretty heavy. It's pretty hefty, which is good in some ways. Okay, so its length, when you measure it across here like this, we're looking at I think it's 7.1 centimeters. It's said in the website, and that looks about right. Width of 5.7, and yeah, and that's because you're measuring these little two posts. If it wasn't for the two posts, it would be less than 5.7. It'd be more along the lines of like a little over 4. And then of course the height we're going to look at here is going to be 3.8, it looks like. So this total volume is going to be 153.8 cubic centimeters. And if you saw the video on the CW Morse SP4 that I did, that one came out to 41.25 cubic centimeters. And so, and my last review, the Bengali Traveler, came out to 242 or 243 pretty much cubic centimeters. So it's a little bigger than some of the other keys that I've done. I think if you eliminate these posts here on the side and bring the volume in just a little bit, it'll be in the range, a little bit hot, still a little bit bigger than the others. To make adjustments to this paddle, especially to the lever contact spacing, you work with these two posts that I just mentioned right here. So on this side and on this side here, they're just thumb screws. And you just adjust those. You might exercise a little caution, I guess, with holding this paddle when you're out in the field. Make sure you don't knock these. But I've actually used this quite a bit, and I've not had any problem with it at all. It's really easy to readjust, by the way, and then if it seems like it has enough tightness that they stay in place pretty good. The spring tension you can adjust through this space right in here with a Allen wrench, and I didn't really mess with that. I think the spring tension came just about right when it came in the mail, so I didn't mess with it at all. As far as mounting goes, this paddle comes with 3 magnets. They're little stands, they look like, but they're actually magnetic. And so there's nothing else further than that, no other options. So it's pretty standard. As far as the agility goes, I found that this key is quite good sending code. I got the contacts very tight, and it surprised me actually at how few mistakes I made when I sent this compared to other paddles. It's really feels good, and I really like the agility for sure. As far as the cabling goes, it does have that 3.5 millimeter jack plug that you can plug your cables into, and so that's good. It does come with the cable as well, so that works great. This key can be purchased on the SUR Kobo website, which has an interesting address name. It's surkobo.jimdofree.com. So I don't know. I imagine that the owner has a guy named Jim that did the website for free. I don't know. This is the first time I've heard of that website. But anyway, I'll add the link in the description, and I'm sure I have it up here where you can see it as well in the video. The website is in Japanese, so I used the Chrome translation with the site to translate it into English for me. At the time of the recording, the CIR-45D was selling for about $180, including tax and shipping. And of that cost, over $50 goes towards shipping. So while you're also on the site, you might want to check out some of the other keys and paddles that are sold there. There's some pretty cool stuff. And that brings me to the grading of this nice little paddle here. Let me go ahead and emphasize again, as I always do, that these are my thoughts, and others may have different thoughts. Opinions vary, so don't beat me up over what I think about this paddle, because you obviously have different preferences, but just telling you what I think. Okay, so when it comes to cost, I'm going to give it a C. The cost of shipping is actually pretty painful in my opinion. The price is kind of average, and so you're paying for the craftsmanship as well as a bunch of shipping. People value things differently from person to person. I really wanted to have this paddle and try it out, so I was willing to pay for that extra shipping to get it from Japan. And so after a while of contemplating, I relented, and I just went ahead and bought this paddle. And actually, I am glad that I did, honestly. I really like this paddle. I think it's really well made, and it's a top performer in my opinion. Durability, I'm going to give it an A. This paddle is made almost entirely of metal. There is the little plastic part right here, or acrylic, and then there's obviously the acrylic right here, the pads themselves. Everything else, other than maybe the connector, is metal as far as I can tell. So it seems to be a quite durable paddle and should last a very long time. As far as the weight goes, I'm going to give it a C. I showed you before that the key falls into the high weight range, so it's a solid paddle for portable use. Its size, I'm going to give it a B instead of a C, and it's quite small, although I really don't like the high profile of it. Like in a couple other paddles, it doesn't fit into my Altoids tin, which I kind of like. I had to order a case especially for this off of Amazon. Also, these thumb screws right here, they kind of are misleading as far as how much space it is. I mean, when you want to put it in something, then definitely they are in the way and they take up space. But you know, it's I'm giving it a B because without that, it's a little bit smaller. Agility, I'm giving it an A. And even though this paddle uses spring tension, I personally put this paddle in my top 5 performers as far as agility goes. I've had no issues with it at all. I like the feel of it as I sand, and it is it has excellent agility. This kind of agility is surprising to me for a spring tension paddle. In fact, I don't know. I really like it. So customer service, I am going to give them a B. I think that the only drawback with purchasing this paddle is going to be the language barrier. I did send an email out to the manufacturer and got a response back. I had to rely on Google Translate in my correspondence, though, with the manufacturer. Other than that, Business with them was a positive experience. I was able to reach somebody, and they were emailing me back and forth. So I didn't have any issues as far as needing to have anything solved or rectified, but I think that I would have been able to get a hold of them and had any issues resolved. Just that language barrier is the only thing that would be a problem. As far as the enclosure goes, as you've seen, it's completely and fully enclosed, and actually they claim that it's dust-proof as well. I like that you can see inside the enclosure. Like a few other paddles, this acrylic cover on top allows you to see the moving parts inside, and I think it's a fun design. When it comes to mounting, the grade is a C. It's average. The ever-present magnet mounting option is right here. There haven't been any attempts to be creative and offer any other alternatives, so because of that, it gets the C grade. As far as beauty goes, I really like how this paddle looks. I'm giving it an A. It is kind of a cool looking paddle, and I personally think its design is catchy. It's the story behind it with the star constellation is cool as well, and so I think that I think it's just a really fun looking paddle. Okay, so that wraps up my thoughts on this key. So let's go ahead and get it plugged into a keyer and give it a test run. Okay, that's the SUR Kobo CIR-45D Morse code paddle. It's a little bit steep in price, especially when it comes to the shipping, but I'm glad that I bought it anyway. It's a great paddle. The feel of the paddle is very good, very smooth, and the agility is surprisingly good. It's a top performer, and it's in my top 3 as far as Morse code paddles for portable use go. It's probably a little bit rare to find in the United States, being out of Japan, and it's probably the shape of it's a little bit difficult to find a case, but you know, I really like this paddle. It's a good one. I really appreciate you for joining me on this portable Morse code paddle review and for this series. I hope you come back, and I will see you again on the next review. 73 to you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.